It looks something like this.
When the world thinks that I've disappeared, you know just where to look.
Hello gorgeous, welcome back to my channel. I haven't been gone for a couple of weeks because my filmmaker, producer, director, all of the above has been filming in Canada, but he's back and we're back at it. And I'm filming a super requested video because a couple, I don't know, maybe a month ago or so, I made this blanket for Matt and I talked about it on Instagram. I hand crocheted it and I don't think I've ever had something more requested than this from you guys. You want to know how I did it and want me to do a tutorial. And let me just tell you, it is cozy. This blanket is much bigger than what most people would want, but I made a throw blanket size and Matt wanted a bigger one, so I made it a king bed size, which is huge. But anyways, I'm gonna show you how I did it, and it's actually really easy, and I think it's really fun. It's one of those things that's just like, you watch TV while you crochet, and all in, I think maybe this took me probably under 3 hours to do a huge king size blanket. So I'm gonna show you how I did it and what you need. So let's get started. All you need are your hands and some yarn. So you want the thick yarn. If you're doing the actual regular thin yarn, it's not gonna work. You're not gonna get the same effect. You don't need a needle. It's literally just your hands. So I'm sitting next to our Christmas tree. We're here in Ohio, and this is our first time that we've ever decorated for the holidays here, and I needed a tree skirt. Well, my mother-in-law sent me a picture of somebody had taken a blanket that looks just like the one that I made and wrapped it around their tree skirt, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. Not their tree skirt, but they wrapped it under the tree to make it the tree skirt. So I'm gonna make a tree skirt with you guys. I will give you the instructions on how to make an actual blanket size too, but the one I'm doing today is actually going to go under the Christmas tree. So all you need is yarn. Now this is the big, I think the actual term for it is big blanket yarn. The first set of yarn that I got for the other blanket was from Hobby Lobby, but any craft store is gonna have that. This is from Michael's, and also wait till it goes on sale. They're $9.99 for a skein, which a skein is one roll, and I unrolled it and put it this way because McKinley kept playing with it. So it's $9.99 per skein. So your typical throw blanket is gonna be 6 skeins. So that would be expensive, $60. So wait till they go on sale. This week they were buy one, get one half off. So I got it 2 for $15. So I'm doing a tree skirt with 4 skeins, maybe less. And then so that would be under $30 to do the tree skirt. Okay, so find your end of your yarn, and all you're gonna do is create a loop. So there's my circle right there, and then I'm gonna take it through the loop and then tighten it to have the end, like that. So your little tail, don't worry, if you have one, you can snip that off later. I'm actually gonna redo it again to show you one more time. So we're gonna, the circle of the loop, and then through the loop. And that's it. So this is where you get to decide what you want it to look like. So you can have a tighter stitch like that. Matt likes the tighter stitch for his blanket because it doesn't let as much air get through. Or I'll show you the other end of my blanket. It's got a little bit of a looser stitch. So it depends on what you're going for. You can go either way. For the tree skirt, I want it to look a little bit more lazy, a little bit more comfortable, I guess. So I'm gonna keep the loops about that size. So all I'm gonna do is take the end and loop it through and tighten it till I get the same loop size again. So now I've got 2 loops. I'm gonna do it again, 3 loops. So I'm just gonna keep going until I get the length that I want. Now, if you're doing a throw blanket, I would suggest somewhere between 20 to 25 loops for the chain. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my chain, and then we will pick it back up from there. Okay, so my chain is 40 long, which if you think about it, that's a very long throw blanket. It's my entire arm span. So you probably don't want to go this long if you're doing like a lap throw, but for under the tree, it's good. So I've got exactly 40. So what I want to do is I want to add an extra loop on the end because that extra loop is going to be my turnaround. So you need to figure out what side is going to be your front and what side is going to be your back. It doesn't really matter because it looks the same both sides. But once you choose, you don't want to flip back and forth or your blanket's going to look wonky. So this is going to be my front, facing upward. All right, so this is my corner stitch. I'm I'm gonna leave it hanging up like that, and I'm gonna go underneath this loop right here and bring it through and up. So do you see now that I've got the 2 stitches? So this is my corner stitch and this is my new stitch. And then I'm gonna do it again under the next loop. Through, so it's just like that, another loop. And then I find the next one, pull it through, and up. And I'm gonna repeat that all the way down the line. And when I get to the end of the line, I'm gonna count to make sure I have exactly the right number of loops, which should be 40. And the reason that I wanna do that is because if you drop a stitch, you're gonna get a mark in your blanket when you're done, and you don't want that. So the easiest way that I've found to do this is to throw my yarn way out, to set this on the floor. So I like to set this on the floor and work at it this way so that I can see exactly what I'm doing versus holding it in the air. You're much more likely not to miss a stitch when you're working over top of it. And just work your way down the row. Okay, so I've got about, I think 6 rows here that I've been working on, and I decided to come to a stopping point and nothing's changed. Honestly, it's just loops, 40 loops, back and forth, but I don't flip it over. All I'm doing is continuing to lay it on its back and do the loops from behind so that I can make sure that this side looks this way and this side looks this way. So I got to the end of my ball of yarn, and I went ahead and I just tied a knot to the new ball. And if you have any tails, just snip it off with scissors, but it's no big deal. I mean, you won't even notice the knot. It's gonna get hidden in the blanket. And just so that you guys know, this is the brand that I use. It's Bernat Big Blanket or Blanket Big. Bernat Blanket Big, and the color I'm using is soft white. So all I'm doing now is keeping it down, same way, and I just take the loops from the back like this. All the way from one end to the other until I get the length that I want. So I'm gonna keep working and I will check back in when we get to the last row because that's where we get tricky. All right, I think I'm done. So I've got my 40 stitches all the way across and I've got my end stitch ready to go. So I'm gonna show you guys how to end this now. So all you do, you don't unravel it. Okay, so you pull through and then I'm going to go to the next loop and go through, another loop, through, another loop, and pick up the next one and go through, and then pick up another loop, go through, and that's all you're doing. You're just braiding it across the top so that you're gonna have that same stitch down both sides and on the top. It's super easy. So again, I've got my loop. I'm gonna go through my stitch, through the loop, pick up a stitch, through the next loop, pick up a stitch, next loop, pick up a stitch, next loop, pick up, and final loop. So I pulled through my last stitch, so all I'm gonna do now is give myself a little bit of a tail and tie off a knot so that I can be sure that it doesn't let go. So right there's my knot. And go back through and loosen anything that you want. But it looks pretty darn good to me. It looks like I bought it at a store. So snip off your tail and anywhere else that you might have a tail. Oh shoot, I missed one loop. Look at that. If you don't count every single time, you're gonna do that. So the way that you fix that is you would just twist it under and then you take a needle and thread and then just stitch it, but it is what it is. So here is my finished tree skirt, and I'm gonna put it under the tree. Let's see how it looks. All right, I think it turned out so cute. Like I said, you only need about 20 links to do a throw blanket size for a lap blanket. My mother-in-law got in there and popped in some literal trash underneath of it and puffed it up and made it look more full. Sorry, I'm just checking to make sure that my microphone's on because this is my second time recording. The first time we forgot to turn the microphone on. And it just made it look more full, and I don't know, it really fits the feel of the tree, and I love it. I think it turned out really, really cute. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was definitely my most requested video in a very long time. Don't forget to visit me on my blog, angelalanter.com, and leave any requests for videos you want to see from me next down below. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next Monday. Au revoir.